This is the story of a dog and a love that outlived time itself. It began almost a century ago, back in the 1920s, but its message still resonates, still breaks hearts today. It all started in 1923, when a Japanese professor named Hidesaburo Ueno adopted an Akita puppy. He named him Hachiko. The two of them became inseparable, a perfect team. Every single morning, the professor would take the train from Shibuya station to get to Tokyo University, and every single evening, Hachiko would be waiting right there, at the exact same spot, for him to return. It didn't take long for the daily commuters to notice this little dog and his unwavering routine. Whether it was raining or shining, through snow or the heat of summer, Hachiko was always there. Quiet, patient, and loyal. The kind of loyalty that we humans rarely even show each other. Then came a spring morning in May of 1925. A day that would change everything. Professor Ueno left for work, just like he always did. He patted Hachiko on the head and said, "I'll see you tonight, my friend." But that night, he never came home. The professor had suffered a sudden brain hemorrhage while at the university. He passed away before anyone could even reach him. Hachiko, of course, couldn't understand death. All he understood was waiting. So, he came back to the station the next day. And the day after that. And the day after that, days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. The professor's family eventually moved away, and the house was sold to new owners. But none of that mattered to Hachiko. He kept returning to the station every evening at 5 o'clock, right when his master's train was supposed to arrive. He would sit on that same wooden platform, watching the faces in the crowd one by one, his ears twitching at the sound of every train whistle. People tried to offer him food, but at first, he refused. It was as if accepting kindness from a stranger meant giving up his hope. But eventually, an old gardener who had once worked for the professor recognized the dog. He began feeding Hachiko every day, and soon, other locals joined in. Moved by his dedication, the story started to spread. The Tokyo Asahi Shimbun newspaper ran an article with the headline, "Faithful dog still awaits his dead master." And just like that, the world learned of Hachiko, and the world wept. As the years passed, Hachiko became more than just a dog. He became a national symbol in Japan. He was a living, breathing story of loyalty that outshone everything else. Children would visit the station just to pet him, and strangers would bow respectfully as they passed by. Each year, on the anniversary of his master's death, people would bring flowers to the very spot where Hachiko waited. But the dog never moved on. He just waited for 9 long, lonely years, until one cold March morning in 1935. Hachiko was found lying peacefully near that same platform, still facing the direction of the train tracks. He was gone. When workers were cleaning his spot, they discovered something curious. Tucked away beneath the bench, under a layer of dust, was a small envelope. It wasn't a real letter, but part of a touching story the local children had made up years later. I'd the last letter from Hachiko. It read, "To my master, I waited like you told me to. Every day, I watched for your train. Sometimes the sky cried with rain. Sometimes it laughed with sun. But I stayed, because that's what love does. People brought me food. They said you were gone, but I didn't believe them, because love never lives it, just takes a different train." Decades later, Hachiko's story traveled across the ocean to America. In 2009, a Hollywood film called **Kachi*, A Dog's Tale * was released, starring Richard Gere. It beautifully retold the same story, but set it in a small, modern American town in Rhode Island. When the movie ended, audiences around the world were in tears. Not just because the story was sad, but because it was true. Today, if you visit Shibuya Station in Tokyo, you'll find a bronze statue of Hachiko standing right where he used to wait. It's a popular meeting spot where couples meet, friends take pictures, and tourists leave flowers. But for those who know his incredible story, it's so much more than just a statue. It's a powerful reminder that true love, real love, doesn't end with goodbye. That was the story of Hachiko, a true story that proves time can end many things, but it can never end loyalty. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories that matter. We'll see you in the next one.